Hello everybody. It's finally time to make another bowl. So I dug into the firewood pile again, and this is another piece from the same tree as that wow bowl with the beautiful grain, so I'm hoping for some of the same in this one. I'm not a big fan of leaving cedar bark on because it's kind of stringy, and this stuff was loose anyways. So I'm just getting a good look at the wood underneath the bark so I can determine where to cut the bowl blank. Now I saw those cracks. They really don't look too bad there, but they're going to come back and haunt me. And this is sitting on my circle cutting jig, but I failed to record the initial cuts properly. But there you can see a couple of different cracks that just happened while I'm cutting. And I didn't even notice it while I was at the bandsaw. And I'm not starting with my typical nice round bowl blank, but I wasn't worried about it because this is a nice soft cedar. So the first thing I'm doing is making it round. And due to positive feedback, I'm choosing to do pretty much this entire video in real time. Just showing crucial cuts, just not quite as much work. And here I'm just cutting the mortise into the bottom of the bowl so I can reverse mount it onto my 4-jaw chuck. And I'll be using that in expansion mode, so it's going to press outward onto the walls of that mortise to hold it in place, as you see here. And I just wanted to point out the tear out on the side there. I'm gonna take the cut in the opposite direction, and we'll see how that tear out looks after that. Did you happen to see all those cracks in the wood before I turned on the lathe? If you didn't see them, well, I didn't see them either. I just was not paying attention. I guess I'm a little rusty. But here's something nice. All the tear outs are gone. Isn't that something? That was me being just a little bit too aggressive. Not paying attention to the unevenness of the top of the bowl, the natural edge. Now, I'm not going to show the whole hollowing of this bowl. I'll just show in stages. But something I do want to point out is the way I'm holding or presenting my tool to the wood. The angle of the flute, I'll just refer to it in clock positions. While at the rim and moving down the inside of the wall, I tend to have it at about 1 o'clock. You'll see here as I get deeper into the bowl and cross the bottom side, I'll twist the flute into almost a 3 o'clock position. And that helps me, at least, avoid catches. See that? Again, here I'm presenting at about 1 o'clock, and then I slowly twist as I go across the bottom of the bowl until it's at about 3 o'clock, just shy, maybe 2:45, 2:30. I don't do that on all bowls, but when I'm working with a kind of a hard angle between the wall and the bottom of the bowl, it's just much easier to do it that way, if that makes sense. I hope it does. And one more thing, there's not very much pressure going on. I'm not forcing the tool onto the wood at all. I'm just kind of easing it. I don't want to jam it in there. I just want to kind of glide it across. Just gentle, deliberate movements. There's a really good look at it. 1 o'clock. Slowly moving to about 2:30. Making my way towards the center. And here's a look outside the bowl. 1 o'clock to almost 3. Now here I'm just removing the bark residue and trying to soften up the edges. And I've done it with a orbital sander before, and I thought it was a good idea this time too. And then those cracks, they came back to haunt me. And you can see how tight that fits in there. It's not like it was all loose. There's no vibrations going on. Nothing like that. It just gave. And broke. But I figured it was fixable with some glue. So I tried that. And I left it to dry for a good, I don't know, half hour. That's plenty long enough to set. That didn't work, so I tried some thin CA glue, and then I tried some medium CA glue, and this bowl was just being hateful. So then I just went a little crazy with the CA glue and put some pretty bad stains in the wood and thought I'd ruined it, so I walked away. And the next morning I came back with a fresh attitude and some new sheets of sandpaper, and I sanded the crap out of it. And you know what? It turned out okay. It wasn't going to be a fail after all. Listen to this. You hear those cracks? I'm just applying denatured alcohol like I always do in between sanding at about 220. And when I applied it, it just started cracking and cracking. But it didn't fall apart. So, all good. I gave it a fairly heavy coating of shellac, which works great as a sealer. I let it soak in and then I rubbed it smooth. Then I added some paste wax, some high gloss paste wax. And it didn't turn out too bad after all. Let me know what you think. It's about 5 3/4 inches wide and about 5 inches deep. I want to thank everybody for sticking with me. My shoulder's doing fine. I'm ahead of average. I'd call it about 70% right now, but I'm done with therapy. And things are looking good. No pain whatsoever during this turn. To all my subscribers, thank you so much. Those of you that have been with me for the duration, and those of you that have just signed on, can't thank you enough. Thanks for watching. Semper Fi.